Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
The featured merch item at tomandan.com, and I'm going right to that because I got no time for the BS today, is the Tom and Dan green racing hat, one of my favorite hats, made by a local company in Jacksonville, Florida called Dome. And basically what Dome does is any of those amazing fitted new era hats that you see me wear, well, they can do just that, but they can do it for your baseball team, for your company, for your school. And we've been using them for about 15 years now.
Yeah.
And they're local and they're amazing and they're out of Jacksonville. They're called Dome. And these hats right now, the Tom and Dan racing hat made by Dome is only $20 at tomandan.com/merchandise. Go there and buy them up.
It's too cheap.
It is too cheap.
So like we are selling
a $45 hat. We're selling for $20. It makes me mad. I even told Eric. I saw
totally
him this
custom
weekend.
hat. Totally custom.
Yeah, I told him.
Inside it says Tom and Dan.
He's sending me 2 more because I was like, well, if that one didn't sell, you might as well send me more of them so I can wear them because they're great hats. So there you go. $20, you get an awesome hat.
Where everything's going up, we're keep discounting.
I know, it's crazy.
So how was the show on Friday at Cafe Da Vinci? Was it good?
Cafe Da Vinci is an awesome spot.
Yeah, first time I've been, super impressed.
It's beautiful. And though I hadn't been there I'd been there in a minute, but I hadn't been there when they've done these it felt like when Sam and I all walked in together. It sort of felt like we were walking into like a Moroccan bazaar.
Yeah, it's like a street market.
Yeah, it was like you're navigating these little alleyways, and they have this area called like Chess Alleyway.
Park, I think.
And then you kind of walk through this little. It's very beautiful, all lit with like rope lighting and very quaint, and little places to sit, and like little food trucks as you're kind of walking in, and little shops. Really, really neat. And you kind of walk in, and the lights kind of lead you right to these double Viking doors. And you open the double Viking doors, and there it is, Cafe. Yeah, it's awesome. It's like this big,
the gates of heaven,
amazing Cafe Da Vinci, like courtyard area with outdoor bar, drinks are flowing, and the place was literally slammed.
Yeah,
and the drinks were flowing. Truphonic took the stage. Those guys, they played. I was they almost played for like 3 hours.
It was a long time.
And they are very, 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 very good musicians. So shout out to Truphonic and Little Stranger. They weren't bad either. It was
no, everything was great.
Everything was really good. It was a good night.
People got lit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that that was a good stumble. Stumbling around.
We're open, baby.
Yeah, there was some stumbling and some hugging and some sweating. There's some sweat on the ground.
It's credit to you, Daniel, for because I don't think I've ever. Well, maybe our last beer release, because I had to drive that RV. Yeah, I wasn't drinking, but that was like it started at noon.
Yeah,
so it wasn't that bad. But I've never been to a nighttime meetup event.
It's hard
and not drink.
It's hard because people they want to pull you into the fishnet.
Yeah,
and everybody around you,
the tractor beam.
Yeah.
Plus, I had a long.
And people want to buy you drinks.
Oh yeah. I had a bunch of that. If you're me, you hold them for as long as you can. You don't put lips on them, and then you find somebody
like, here you go,
who really wants one, and you hand it off.
Hey, Mike B, here you go.
You just pass it off to somebody who needs it more than you do.
Yeah.
I was stupid though. I let my Tesla drive me home. And drive me there, which is awesome. Probably could have done that drunk. I don't think you're supposed to do that. I do not condone that. I'm just saying
it'd be safer.
It would be safer.
Yeah.
It would be safer. You can't argue that.
Yeah.
That's the future.
That's the future, right?
But what I did was I was stone sober, but I did pretend I was drunk.
Yeah, that's fine. You can pretend to be drunk.
I was like, let's pretend you're drunk and you're driving home in the Tesla. And the sober part of me, pretending to be drunk, high-fived myself and said, this is the future, if that makes sense.
Will it only drive on the interstate?
Really just the interstate.
Like it won't get off.
Okay, basically, short of the long is if you want to, because it gets really detailed, and people in these groups, they fight about it. And I'm not a Tesla fanboy. I just happen to have one, right?
Yeah.
But the people in the groups tell me, you have you opt into the beta program, right? If you want it self-driving you everywhere, you try to opt into this program. Not everybody gets selected. So my car now is basically watching me drive. And it gives me, at the end of each day after driving, it gives me a safety score. Like right now I'm sitting around an 82. It's not very good. You should be in the 90s if you want to go into this program. So I'm trying to get it to the 90s so I can go into the program, and that way.
Well, what have you been doing that's been, quote, unsafe?
Well, I've been launching.
Speeding.
Yeah, with me and
Yeah.
Maisie in the car, and May likes it. And, you know, if we're coming out of the Burger King, I
You
hammer
launch
that.
it.
Yeah, I launch it.
You got to get those chicken fries
yeah,
fast.
man. Why we're not, you know, I drive. It makes you, because it's fast, it makes you drive like a D-head a little bit. It does.
Yeah. Well, how could you not?
How could you not?
You launch it.
It's launched. It's ready to launch.
So, but now
All I do is launch all day.
But as of now, like let's say you leave Cafe Da Vinci, you get on I-4.
I launched to get. Man, I was
You
fast.
launched out of
Yeah!
that. But then you get on I-4,
Yeah.
then self-driving.
Yes.
And I-4, it just drives
just
you all
drives
to
itself.
the exit, and then you take over.
It'll tell you, because I'm not in the program. It'll say, "Hey, this is supposed to be your exit. You know, hit OK, and we're gonna dump you out of here." And it works great.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
It's awesome.
you just sit back.
Yeah,
and have it
it's
drive
great.
you.
Well, now see, I'm not in. You got it. They make sure that you got your hands on the wheel. You know, by like wiggle it a little bit. So my way of getting around that is when they say like, "Hey, touch the wheel," it'll like your screen up at the top will kind of flash blue. It'll like kind of glow blue to let you know like, "Hey, you haven't moved the wheel in a minute. What are you doing? You better not be changing a diaper in here, or grilling some kebabs in the back seat." So what I do is there's a little scroll wheel. I go up 1 mile per hour, and that takes care of it.
Oh,
And then if it does it again, I go
you
down
back?
one.
Okay,
I
you
go
just go
down,
up and
back
down.
down. So I go 74, 75, 74,
Can you
75,
watch
74,
something on
70.
TV?
No.
Damn it.
But
Well,
you
that
can,
stinks.
but you can watch something on your phone, and I
Yeah.
may have been doing that.
Can you screen mirror?
No, it's got.
It's making sure you don't.
it's going to make sure, because there's no way they'd get that approved by the government.
Yeah. Because,
But yeah, I can
I'm
have
sure
my-
there's a hack.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I can have my phone full on baseball playing, watching the Braves as I'm going down the road, and it's driving for me. Some person may have done that. He might be 5'2" and might be sitting in front of you, and maybe not. I don't know. The world may never know.
that's the future.
It is the
Yeah,
future. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But anyway, the night was great, and I cannot sing the praises of Truphonic, Cafe Da Vinci more. That's probably one of the best local bands I've seen live, because they're really, really, really good musicians. Like really top tier players.
Yeah.
Full horn section, guys and girls that could sing, backup singers, backing vocals. You know, when you're trying to cover a Prince song, and not trying, you're doing it and doing it well. You know, like only good musicians cover Prince. You know what I mean? Like, well, I guess bad people can, but we know who you are.
I'm sorry I missed it.
Well, you had the
next time.
corona.
Disease.
You had the monkeypox.
I
Where are we at with monkeypox yet?
don't think anybody cares about that.
Yeah, but we got the third
Our
most
buddy
cases.
Ron just got his vaccination for it over in California.
No, really.
Yeah, you got to do it. If you're in that, if that's
Pox,
your,
if you're in the pox area.
yeah, if you're in the pox, you check the box. You're in the pox.
So the verdict has come out.
Yes,
with the
guilty.
with the
Oh,
Deshaun Watson suspension.
Yeah, I texted you immediately. I was at the studio.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
I saw that over the weekend. They're like they leaked that it was going to be decided Monday. So I was like, let's see, because I had a sizable bet, and I went on multiple diatribes on this show about how I believed that Deshaun Watson was going to get a year.
Yes.
And he
Right.
wasn't going to play this year.
Yeah.
So I bet a good amount of money, like probably 5 units. So
Every time you say that, I think of blood.
Yeah,
5
I know,
units
yeah.
of blood.
It's just a way for me to
Right.
express what a lot to be. It's actually not
Yeah.
that much, but in my betting scale. But anyway, I bet, and then I also had other bets that it would be over at least 7.5 games. I found that on a site. Anyway, it came out today that it was a 6-game suspension.
6-game suspension. I laughed. I was like, wow, 6 games.
At least that's what Judge Sue Robinson has
Poor Calvin Ridley.
come out and said that that's her decision.
You'd think as a female it'd be a little harsher.
Well, you remember it's not subjective. It's a judge. So
Yeah, but it's subjected to her opinion.
it is, but she is a former judge, or I think former, right?
I don't
Yeah.
really know much
I'm sure
about
she's
her.
not an active sitting judge
I don't
and
think
had
she
the
is,
job.
no.
She's a former federal judge.
Yeah. So she's thinking like a judge, and they're very analytical and very law-based, you know what I'm saying? So she may have looked at past decisions and past
She
cases.
says it was a pattern of behavior was egregious, but notes that his behavior, quote, was nonviolent sexual conduct.
Wait a minute.
I don't agree with that at all.
Calvin Ridley was nonviolent.
Well,
I'm going to start to argue. They gave him 17 games.
Well, now, of course, and that's what so here's my secondary theory.
And I don't think he had a victim in his particular crime.
No, he bet on FanDuel. He bet a
That's
5-game
a victimless
dodo
crime.
5-game dodo parlay on FanDuel. It was ridiculous, but I think under his contract, it's an automatic year-long suspension. It's not just subjective to but
things can be moved and changed.
Yes. So now it looks like I lost my bet, except for because the NFL has the final say on this, right? And now I didn't so it's kind of brilliant that the NFL did this because it gives them choices of what to do, and it takes the disciplinarian the action out of their hands by having this third party Sue Robinson judge, right? So they get this third party judge, and then she makes a decision. But under the rules that they set for themselves, the NFL has the final say, right? And the NFL had already put out there that their recommendation was an indefinite, at least year suspension.
At least a year is what I was going.
In which he would have to apply to the NFL, getting the indefinite suspension, whatever. So they already put out there that they wanted a longer suspension, right? So now Sue Robinson comes out with the 6 games.
It's all for show.
That seems like the I guess environment, our society will think that that's too light, right? Because that's my first.
I thought it was too light.
I feel like that's everybody's initial reaction to this 6-game suspension is it's too light. I mean, look, even based on their history, that's what Ben Roethlisberger got for 1 allegation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're giving the same suspension as a guy that had 1 allegation against him, as a guy who was 25, which, by the way, 4 of them are not settled. They're going to court next year.
They just settled 3 more yesterday?
I'm not sure.
Or this past
week?
I
don't know.
Yeah, I think right before the decision was supposed to be coming down, he handled 3 of them out of court or something.
Well, all of them except for, I believe, 3 or 4 have been settled, and those are going to court next year.
Well, you and I were talking about this, and then, our take was this morning, we're like, okay, this is great. It's great for the NFL because now they can swoop in here and be like, well, hold on, Sue. We get the last say. We're the NFL. This is our baby, and obviously, that's not enough. And we're heroes here, and he's gonna go. We're giving him a year because we're the good guys here. 6 games. Not sorry, Sue. We're the NFL. We've always been good. We're gonna start showing people we're good. 1 year.
Okay. They may not do that, but if they did, that seems like they would use this as a way for them to look like they're no nonsense against this particular violation, right?
Like we're changing some things around here,
and we're different. We're not the NFL of the past. Yeah. We're harsher.
Women matter here.
We're even harsher than the female judge.
Yes.
That only gave him 6 games.
Yes.
So or they could say we giving him 10.
We gave this job to a woman to do. Too stupid to do it. We're the NFL. 1 year.
But so they could use this opportunity because, again, with just a 6-game suspension,
it's laughable.
Who benefits now? Besides from Cleveland benefiting, and Deshaun Watson, you could argue that he doesn't even benefit that much because he's only getting paid $1 million this coming year, right? Because that's how they structured his contract. Guaranteed $230 or $260 or whatever it is, but they structured.
Well, I'm rethinking it now because you and I were talking about this, and Tom and I concocted this idea where we thought the NFL would swoop in and say, like, no, Judge, you're being too lenient on him. He's a bad man. Give him a year, and then everybody be like, wow, the NFL has changed. But now that we're talking this out on the show, I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's going to stay at 6 games. He will play. I think it's just going to stay, and it's going to roll on down the tracks. Because right now, all they're doing is monitoring reaction, right? This is their play, right? Before they even get to what we do, we got to monitor what people do.
Yeah.
So we fire the 6 games out there. Here's the thing, and then you sit back and you watch what's happening. What do they do? Seems like everybody's okay with it. All right, game on. And that's what I think is going to happen.
That could be the case. It definitely could be. And
now, is that sad? Yeah. And then you got tons of people in our chat room saying it's hard to watch the NFL. And I could see that.
Now, you could make an argument that, like, look what the NFL has done in the past. They're pretty, I guess, you could see what they're going to do, and it's all based on money, right? Like, they don't care about anything but money.
Correct.
And so that's evident by the way they act.
Well, then let's guess it. What's the way for the NFL to make the most amount of money with the cards that are in play right now?
Well, the way they make the most amount of money is off marketing. And that's how they make all their money, is the fans that watch it, and then they sell marketing to this entertainment. So what they don't want to do is mess with their marketing money, and this does seem like something that could mess with their marketing money if Deshaun Watson, like I said before, I know we'll be done with this, but if he's like, let's say Jacoby Brissett wins them 3 games by some miracle, right? Because they got a good team.
And then they put him in and it's go time.
And then they put him in and he's playing lights out. He has the ability. Now, he hasn't played in over a year and a half, but he's got the ability to play awesome.
If he can get in a rhythm, he's going to do it.
With a Cleveland Browns team that is set up.
It's got the weapons.
With a bunch of quality players. And everybody says
better than quality players. He has some like severely good players.
With a great quarterback, this could be a top 5 team. So now they're in the playoffs in Christmas time, and this guy,
he's got the Santa hat on. Oh, he's got the Santa hat on, and they do when they do the special intros.
And then
Merry Christmas to all the service members out there. Those guys, I love it when they do this.
And what if, like, that pushes one more accuser who has a video of Deshaun Watson or something like that out to the public to be like, I'm not letting this guy get away with it.
He's
on TV wearing a Santa hat, for Christ's sake.
I mean, because he already won. Like, this guy already, and now going back to, like, what the reality of what happened to this guy. I was talking to Daniel about this. So when he played for Houston Texans, he had a long-term contract in which he wanted out of, right? So he signed this, I think it was a 4-year deal with the Houston Texans. And then either that year or a year later, I can't remember.
I thought it was a year later, but I could be wrong.
He decided he didn't want to play for Houston Texans anymore and was going to sit out.
Yeah.
And then it was this big thing where, like, is he going to sit out the year? What are they going to do? All of a sudden, and then all these allegations came out. And then once the allegations came out, then Houston couldn't, they were like, well, we can't have this guy back. And then he went to open market, which would have normally not happened if all these allegations. It was a weird situation, right?
It would have been more of a trade and less of a, like, hey, anybody can get him.
Yeah, and then
which actually it helps him out.
Oh, yeah.
And because it went to open market, he got the biggest contract in NFL history, guaranteed.
Yes.
And so you could make the argument that this guy not only signed a contract and then decided he didn't want to do it anymore, right? Which is kind of, now that's just business, but it's kind of a thing to do.
Maybe you are making the argument for the NFL giving him a bigger suspension.
And then he's got 25, allegations against him.
Sure.
And now, some of them, like I said, I mean, some of them could be pure nonsense, and some of them could be the worst that we could imagine. And then the truth is somewhere in between. Something he acted inappropriately, whatever it is, 25 times, and then this helped him make the biggest contract in NFL history
for being a POS.
Yeah. So
that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you explain that to the general public, they don't want to see, because they're like, well, what have you done to deserve all the best things, right? With this.
These people seem to be doing a lot of work for somebody who's really not nice, not a good.
Yeah, exactly. At the very least, like not a savory individual.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's only one in this scenario, besides his reputation, but he did that to himself.
Yeah.
So it's like, besides his tarnished reputation, this guy won the lottery.
That's the thing that I'll never be able to get to, because it's an unmeasurable feeling. But the part of me, because I look at most things from an emotional lens, whereas you look at it completely different. The thing for me is, how is this guy? Because what's most intriguing to me is, can he play at an optimum mega athlete level, having not only other people hate him so much, but how does he value himself? Does he hate himself? Too stupid to hate himself?
I think he's a
Smart,
narcissist.
Like, that's the part that I
think
find
he thinks
fascinating.
he did nothing wrong.
Okay, yeah.
So he's perfectly fine in his
So
brain with
inside his
himself.
compartmentalized universe, he's good to go.
And with this punishment, I mean, they kind of justified that, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
it
but
does reinforce it, right?
There's no punishment.
It does. You're right.
I mean,
any other person in any other career would be fired. No suspension. You'd be fired.
Yeah.
If you had this many allegations against you?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's
you don't want the baggage.
And like any other person besides Deshaun Watson in football would probably be fired, but because he's a quarterback in any other position.
So you could be a murderer, a rapist,
Well, let me ask
a
you this.
pedophile, but if you can
Let me ask you
play
a
good
question
football.
real quick that has to do with...
I mean, any actual criminal charge, they couldn't have. He'd be out of there.
Let me ask you this, because like, is he... And I've never heard this, but it's like we're all wrapped up in this, the sports world, right? Especially in football land. In football land, this is it. And this will be the next story for the next month or so, whatever. Is he legitimately that good? Is he proven?
I've heard arguments
because
before.
I would say there's only one guy that I know is this kind of, I'm going to get in here and shovel all this garbage to get you on my team because you're going to make me win, and he's the old guy. Like Brady is proven. There are people that are like, I'm talking road tested, proven.
He's not a proven winner, and now a lot of people make the arguments because he was on Houston Texans because of the players he had. The last full season he played, he only won 4 games, but statistically he had a top 5 QB performance, and that's what everybody's going off of. Like on tape,
that's not a lot. Really.
His mechanics,
right? It's not a lot.
His talent. I've heard the argument that if you have a top 5 QB performance, you should be able to win more than 4 games. But there are certain circumstances, and people make the argument he didn't have a good team around him. So the truth is in his mechanics, the tape, how well he throws, all the stuff, how mobile he is, all that. But
it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. So I'm sure we'll come back to this at some point during the show. Well, not today, but throughout the month. When and if something happens. So right now, you heard it here. Are we gonna guess that the NFL swoops in and tries to be the hero?
Well, I mean,
let's go with it. Let's all go with it.
That's our prediction.
Yeah, that's our prediction. Because that's for fun. Because really, we don't like the guy.
Now I know NFL had the final say, and the NFL can't appeal, and the players' union already said they weren't going to appeal, which is ridiculous.
So they set aside their appeal to say, like, whatever you give, you give?
Deshaun Watson and the Players Union, they suggested something like an 8, I think they suggested a 6 to 8 game suspension or something. I've read a lot about this because I was betting on it.
Trying to put some money in.
And then the judge went with the least possible amount that anybody thought he was going to get, right? I mean, everybody said 6 was the minimum. And so she gave him the minimum. Let's see how it plays out in the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
Because I would say that people as more media picks this up today and start talking about it, that there's going to be a certain outrage, right?
They're going to monitor the bubble and see how it simmers and see if they can either weather it or they need to swoop in and do something, right?
Because society doesn't like when someone does something and we don't feel like they got punished enough, right? Like we don't want someone to be like
OJ will get kicked out of an Olive Garden. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they'll get out of here, OJ.
Or
we hate you still.
Even look at the OJ case. Like they threw the book at him with that other memorabilia thing, which he probably wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying?
Still, it's not what we wanted though. We wanted good old electric chair OJ.
yeah.
We wanted him in there. We wanted him like in the chair.
Give Juice the juice.
Yeah, we wanted him locked up for 100. Right?
Yes.
John Bonet Ramsey, we wanted somebody locked up electric chair. We always want electric chair.
I like OJ's on social media saying, like, have you seen
dressed
this?
Like a
ridiculous.
Cop.
Anyway,
God damn it! What world are we living in?
We'll see what happens. But it's all entertaining. It does seem gross though.
It's very gross. Yeah, it's
like,
super gross.
It's like that doesn't seem right.
No.
Right?
No.
Like it doesn't.
This doesn't
sit well, right?
It's not throwing a white suit into a dumpster because it has blood all over it. Gross, but it's still pretty gross.
But even the white suit in the dumpster, a lot of that, like, at least the facts are in like some of this. Anybody who reads about it, you're like, oh God, it's disgusting. Dude. But there's like the girls were crying, and then he texts them back like, There's proof that he's like, I'm sorry I made you cry. You're like, what?
Why are you saying that?
Disgusting.
I don't even say that to my wife. I never want to be on record saying that to anybody.
But it's just like, 6 games? Anyway, ridiculous. All right.
We'll take a break and bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
So every year we started doing this thing called Shart Week. And
Shart.
Yes. And it was because I think it started with a flub about an upcoming Shark Week on Discovery Channel.
It did. The first year, I believe, we were doing our uncensored podcast that a lot of people apparently still don't know about. TomandDan.com.
Yeah.
You can go to TomandDan.com. If you like listening to us in the mornings on Real Radio, and if you like listening to us in the evenings on Real Radio, because we do both, you can find us pretty much at all times at TomandDan.com. There's tons of content you probably haven't heard before, but yes.
Yeah. Our app is free. If you download it, go to your app store. If you got a smartphone, you have an app store, search Tom and Dan, it's there.
Yep.
Or if, Google Play has ACT and AMT.
YouTube. We're all over YouTube. Tom and Dan Live.
YouTube. You can search Apple Podcast. ACT's on there. AMT, which is, like Daniel said, our uncensored Friday free show that we do and have been doing for 12 years. It's every Friday. Starts at noon. Yep. Anyway, all at TomandDan.com. So we started this Shart Week as a joke because we flubbed the word, and then it was a competition between our listeners who had the best Shart, and we'd give a nice crystal trophy to the winner every year.
It was a dumb idea. It was an excuse for us to waste a little money, which is still, again, a dumb idea, where we take hundreds, if not at this point, thousands of dollars. We buy a crystal trophy and we give it to the listener as the best poop my pants story.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And we engrave their name into it, and then and then we give it to them.
It's dumb. It's really dumb.
So,
but it never. You know what? I crap on it. Pun intended. Every year I say shut it down. Every year I'm like, don't do it. Every year
horrible.
I'm like, I am a 46-year-old father of a lovely 7-year-old daughter. Shut it down. But this morning, I swear to God, Sam told me something about. I started giggle laughing about it. I'm like, I love it. Get in here, you.
So this has been. We're recording it later today, and it's our 9th annual Shart Week.
My God, almost a decade.
Almost a
decade of Sharts.
And so we've got contestants. That's on our BDM only shows. You got to be a BDM.
Yep.
It'll be up today.
Yes.
And you can sign up at TomandDan.com, $1.95 a month.
Yes.
So Joey submitted a submission this year. Now, technically, it has to be yourself. So this couldn't have won, because this is about someone else. But the story is funny. So Joey's in here today. How you doing, Joey?
Good, man. Really good. Already laughing about it. I can't stop.
So let's start with your Shart Week story. Now this is going to be aired on the radio, so we're going to be
careful.
And because the BDM Shart Week is the worst thing you've ever heard.
Well, we don't.
You guys should see these emails I had to read over the past week.
And I feel bad for Sam. It's almost like she should get hazard pay.
Yeah,
like time and a half for this. You know,
everyone's pretty sweet in the emails. They apologize prior to telling me their story.
They do, and then sometimes, like, I'll get CC'd. They'll do that too. Well, they'll be like, apologies, I'm CCing everyone on this.
Everyone must see this.
Don't read. Well, some of them will even say, like, you don't need to read it, just making sure it got there.
Yeah.
Nerds.
I question. I'm like, can we put this on the internet?
I don't know.
Anyway, so Joey, what is your story?
So I've been doing what I do as a concierge in the city of Orlando for almost 14 years now. And when I first started a couple years in, still kind of getting my feet wet and learning this. And some of the things that they drop on you, you don't know. You don't know how to handle it. You don't know. And big family, and anytime it's over more than 8 people, you get a second.
Oh, I thought you meant fat people. They're factors. It's a factor.
A lot of people in this family.
A lot of people in this family. And it was age from grandpa all the way down to a 5-year-old.
Okay.
And they wanted to go watch a show in a theme park that is themed animals.
Okay.
And the show has a fish theme to it, and
Okay.
everybody wanted to watch it except the 2 youngest kids. They just didn't.
Sure.
Shows are stupid. Singing is stupid. I said, I'll tell you what.
That's your Tom must have been with you.
Finding Nemo, Animal Kingdom.
You win. You win.
Is that okay?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I didn't know if I
Totally
should
not.
say.
Yeah, you can say it.
We're not sponsored by Disney.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
fine.
never, we will never
You know
be
how much
sponsored.
trash I talk about Disney?
Do you know? Here's a fun fact. Do you know why we'll never be sponsored by Disney?
Why?
Shart movie. That's why.
Walking
That's
right down
why.
the trail.
Bingo bongo.
Yeah, it all comes together.
So we're at Animal Kingdom. We're dropping the family off. The 2 youngest are like, the dad looks at me and goes, hey, I saw that there was a Dino Land play place back there. Would you mind taking the kids? Just let them run it off and get tired. We'll put them in the... Yeah, I was like, no problem. So me and the other concierge...
I gotta go find a place to empty my overalls.
So bad. We took them over, and if you've been to the boneyard, you have to go in through the slide.
I've
up
been to the boneyard.
Yeah, I've never been to the boneyard.
Hi-oh.
I tell you, Brendan O'Connor's been trying to get me to the boneyard. I keep trying to tell him, it's like, I'm just curious. I'm not gay.
So
I'm
as
just curious.
you walk up the steps, you walk all the way across the bridge, all the way down to this little digging area. There's a bunch of rocks. You fill it.
Oh, that's where my daughter usually gets lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And we're sitting there, and out of nowhere, the little boy looks up at me, and he goes, I got to go to the bathroom real bad. And I go, okay, buddy, well, no, I got to go to the bathroom real bad. I said, is it a number 1 or is it a number 2? I got to go to the...
God.
So I
You're
panicked.
like, Tom, is it a Lily or a Wawa?
He
Oh,
looked
don't
panicked.
ruin Wawa for me.
Is
Is it a Wookiee or a Dada?
So I grab the kid, throw him over my shoulder, and I sprint. And
Oh,
I look at...
That's a bold move.
I
If a kid
panicked.
just told me they had to use the bathroom, I'm not throwing him over my
Yeah.
shoulder.
Do you know what I mean? I usually do that with all kids. I throw them over my shoulder. I go running through theme parks. They love it.
And I'm just
People love that.
sprinting. I'm walking through these rocks, trying to not trip and drop myself. And I get to the... And you're... Where are you going? I got to take him to the bathroom. Come find me.
That's
I'm
pedophile stealing a child.
That's what I felt like. That's what scared me. Security sees an adult with a
Yeah.
kid. I'm like, I just got to go. We run.
You got to throw a vape pen to throw them off your scent.
We get all the way around to where the McDonald's area used to be over there.
Okay.
And there's a bathroom. I put him down. I go for it. He gets off, runs, and he starts doing the thing where he's squinching his butt cheeks together while
you
trying
know
to
what? I
hum.
usually when kids do that, I'm like, knock that off. You're making it worse. Tom does that, where they have to show you how much they have to pee or poop. So they have to bend their legs. Oh, look at me, I'm a child. It's like, come on, knock it off.
And he runs down that like down the runway, the world's worst Victoria's Secret runway you've ever seen.
Not for
And
Jared from Subway. It's his
Oh, man.
favorite runway.
he opens the door, goes inside, and all I see from the door is, uh-oh. And I go, hey, bud, how you doing? You
You
good?
have echo on. You can be like, hey, buddy, you okay in here? Hey, little guy, you okay in here?
It's exactly it. And now I don't know what to do because I know what happened, but I still go, so, how's it going? You okay? And he's like, I had an accident. And I'm like, all right. I'm panicked. I don't know what to do. I pull out my phone. I'm not getting
I start
service.
taking photos.
I'm trying to call his
I got to
parents.
survey the scene to make sure I'm not implicated in the crime.
I try to call his parents to be like, we have a problem, no service. Trying to call the other guide, not getting service. I'm running outside.
You got to leave him. You got to carry on. With
I know, that's what scared me.
Yeah.
So I'm
no,
standing.
it's like Full Metal Jacket. You got to leave
So
him there.
is the kid asking you for help, or is he just said I had an
dead
accident?
style, deer in headlights. I
No,
can only
that's
assume
what-
he's just sitting there.
That's what
because-
everybody does in those type of scenarios. You don't want to talk to anybody. You certainly don't want, no offense, I certainly don't want to talk to your chirping ass. Like you in there like talking to me, I'd be like, oh my God, this guy will never shut up. I just want to be alone with my poop pants and just die in here.
So he's
Right?
frozen.
You're not wrong.
I'm like you. I would be chirping the person like crazy, and I know they don't want to hear me.
Yeah.
So he's just frozen in there with doo-doo pants.
Yes.
All right, yeah.
So I stand
You
outside the
can
door.
relate, right? I feel like this. You would do that. You'd freeze, never to be seen again.
And I'm trying to talk to him while trying to scream for a manager standing in the doorway. I'm like, we're going to be okay, buddy. I'm like, I need some help.
be okay.
Can I get some help? And, you're going to be okay. Can I get some help?
I like that you're like, how? Like somebody's drowning. It's just a kid with a poop pants.
But I don't have kids and I'm
Yeah, I
panicked and
gotcha.
I don't know what to
Oh,
do
yeah.
in this
I'd
situation.
be freaking out.
So finally,
Who's gonna help you? The janitor?
I just assume
Who's
like
gonna save your soul?
probably. I'm just hoping like there's some like real man dad out there who's
Cool.
like, oh, I've got 3 kids and this happens all the time. I know exactly what to do. I just wanted someone to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So this really he was so sweet. He was this tiny little Hispanic janitor guy comes over and he goes, "What's wrong, puppy?" I said, "I got a kid and he essed his pants." And he goes, "What?" I go, he made a mess everywhere.
This bathroom is polluted.
And he tried to do the same. He tried to help the kid, and he goes, "It's okay, puppy. I pull my pants all the time."
Ballooned in here.
I'm like cry laughing because he's like, "I pull my pants all the time." I'm cry laughing, and he's telling this kid it's okay. Now the kid's sobbing. I have this guy here thinking he's gonna help.
Don't cry. Hey, balloon.
I instantly regret Joey asking Joey to tell the story because we're about to hear in an hour 5
Top tier. Top tier.
No, but also like. Why don't I want more poop pants stories? Like,
You can't get enough.
I don't want. So, did the janitor go inside and help him?
No, the janitor goes, I'll get a manager. And he went and got a manager. The manager comes back. He goes, "What's wrong?" I was like,
What seems to be the problem here?
"You're not too."
Oh my God! It is polluted in here.
He goes, "What happened?" I said, "My nephew essed his pants, and there's a big mess everywhere."
It's not your nephew.
I know, but I always play the uncle card because I don't want them being
He
like,
looks nothing like you.
This boy that I'm hanging out with.
exactly.
My
exactly.
hanging boy.
I don't know him.
One of the boys I party with, one of my party boys here, moved his pants.
So he goes, "Not a problem." He's like, "How tall is he?" And I go, "About this big." And I'm like putting my arm on my side to show him how tall. He goes, "I'm going to go get him a new pair of sweatpants. I'll be right back." I was like, "Well, thank
They
you so
have
much."
sweatpants of every size in Disney. I've always heard
Yes.
about these hallways, sweatpant hallways. They got everyone's size.
So he leaves. The person I was hosting with, she shows up and she goes, "So what happened?" And I go, I'm telling her, like, "Look, kid, we ran. He didn't make it. Stained the whole frigging stall. His pants are ruined. Manager's getting new pants. Go get the parents." And she's like, "Okay, I got this. Thank you so much." And I'm texting her like, "I need you to get the parents. Bring them back here. Tell them that he's okay. Let him know everything's good." Like, I took it way more serious than I should have, but it's never happened to me before. I was panicked.
Yeah. Well, the kid's just sitting in there.
They're on the Millennium Falcon.
So she goes and gets the parents, and she's all the way over at, Nemo. So now I come back with the kid. He cleaned himself, I assume. I don't know. I'm not going to help. But so the manager.
Wow, Joey.
Well, you can't help a stranger.
I can't help a stranger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kid,
you could at least
You're on your own, buddy.
You could wet the paper towels and hand them over the top, for Christ's sake.
So
Good Lord.
So the manager comes, he gives him a pair of pants, and he
Wet
literally
him in
walked
the
up to the
toilet.
stall like it was no big deal. He walks over and goes, "Here you go, buddy. These are fresh pair of pants." And the janitor's
Here
like,
you
"Do you
go,
want to keep these?" I'm like, "No, you can throw them away, burn them." So the manager,
What? No, those are Zeke Averichis. What are you doing?
I'll get him a new pair
He's
of Oshkosh.
mopping it up.
He's mopping up the doo-doo pants. He's putting them in a bag, and he's trying to give me the bag. I'm like, "I don't want the bag. I don't want the bag of doo-doo pants."
You want the bag?
So he puts the pants on. The manager comes back and he goes, he gave me one of those no strings, the yellow tickets. He's like, "I'm so sorry this happened for you. Go ahead and get him an ice cream sandwich. We want him to be comfortable and
We
feel
want him to
good."
have more diarrhea. So here's a ticket for a high-octane Mickey bar. It's got the same chocolate as Magic Shell. It'll run right through him. All the saturated fat.
You know what's good for our stomach problems? Milk.
Yeah, you need to go get this boy churro nachos.
So I say, hey, good news. We're gonna go get some ice cream. It's gonna be amazing. I'm trying so hard to cheer him up because he's not crying
This will help
anymore.
your diarrhea. Theme park food.
So I take him over. We walk over to the ice cream stand. I get it for
I
him.
just yakking Yeti'd in my pants.
He sits down on the bench and he's eating this thing like Ren and Stimpy cartoon.
Starved. He's dehydrated.
Yes.
He just had diarrhea. He's
You
dehydrated.
make him wash his hands because the kid. Oh God.
Oh, man.
He ate the thing in 4 bites. It was gone.
Oh, wow.
So I walk. I'm like, all right. I see them walking, and you comfortable? You good? He's like, I'm good. And he sits down. I walk away from him, and I'm like, look, here. Did she tell you what happened? And me and the parents are talking. Is he okay? I was like, yeah. He's sitting over here. He's comfortable. He's in the shade. Everything is awesome. And by the time
That's Lego, Brand. You can't be.
everything is excellent.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And as we walk back over to him, he's crying his eyes out, and I go, "What happened?" He essed his pants.
Double doo-doo.
I said,
Oh my God! I foreshadowed that. Man, I know my way around some doo doo.
I asked him,
sweatpants?
I said, "What happened?" She goes, "Oh, he's lactose intolerant." I said, "I didn't know that.
Oh
I
my
gave
God,
him ice cream."
I knew it. I'm so sorry.
I felt so now I don't know what to do. I can't find the manager and be like, "Hey, if you got a recycling bin somewhere, I might as well get 5 or 6 more pair." The mom actually she goes, "This happens all the time." I'm like, "Well, it shouldn't happen all the time." She says, "Okay, I have a pair of pants."
I have a pair of fold-out paper pants in my purse.
So we went back to the bathroom. She took him in the ladies' room. She cleaned him up, put his other pants on.
Been in every bathroom at Disney.
He essed 2 pair of pants inside of
man.
30 minutes.
Do you throw them both away?
I walked away from the whole thing. I was just like,
I would
done.
keep the first pair of sweatpants probably.
I don't know what I would do in a situation where another child beyond mine gets in that.
I've done it before. I've had to deal with when I was dating people and they had kids. It wasn't my kid. This one girl I was dating, she had a kid, and he had a specific problem. Well, I think I've talked about this on the show before, where he would hold his bowel movements, and then they would back up. So he would get like a mega pint.
Oh.
I'm probably going to get a letter about this. But he would hold him up. He'd hold him up. He's a Marine now. He's in the Marines now.
Good for him.
Semper Fi, thank you for your service. But I'm talking about you now. When you were a kid, you'd hold him up.
We should email him.
you
We should
get
email his
Remember your mega pints?
all his friends.
No. But
They won't make fun of
But
him.
yeah, you just do what you got to do, because it's like it's no different than you. If you just you're just like, you'll be all right. But like, I know what you're doing. You're like, it's all right, buddy. You're good.
You had to clean it?
Yeah, you do a little wiping, a little cleaning.
No,
Yeah,
I could never clean it.
You could do a
because
little cleaning.
I would feel way too awkward. I'd be like,
you would with Maisie, guaranteed. You would.
No, not
or you'd
with
say,
a girl. It's
or
worse.
you'd say like, handle it yourself. She would know
Yeah,
what to do.
but say Maisie was a baby or whatever. Like I don't like. I remember I were watching my niece Becca. Like
Really?
Yeah, like
you have no like, you look at kids that aren't yours and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I'm not gonna do it.
That's what I do.
I know, I know what to do, but I don't want. It's
I don't
awkward
wanna
with
do
other,
it.
with
Yeah.
other kids, and then I'm like,
I get pulled, like there's an empathy
Awkward.
where I get pulled into like helping. Like I feel
No,
like I
I
can't
know.
let them stand there crying.
Well,
I
that's
did it
what
at the
adults
water
do.
park on Saturday. There's some little girl standing there crying, and her parents they don't care. So I get pulled into it, and I'm like, oh my God, what do you need? I'll help you out.
yeah.
It's gonna end up hurting me.
And then the fact that I was in a theme park, though, it's scary because you hear the stories that like security's like, that's not your kid, hit him, and I'm like,
Hit him.
I'm just trying to help.
So Joey, let's talk about the theme parks.
Let's.
We're coming out of the summer.
Thank Christ.
Are we?
I
Are we
don't
just
know.
getting
Oh,
into it?
it's full summer.
It's hot,
It is
man.
hot,
And we're
yeah.
not even, well, I guess today is the first day of August.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
welcome to what's supposed to be the hottest.
Yeah, I mean we're easing into fall, so I imagine we've talked about this before, but my kids start school next Wednesday, August
nuts.
10th. I know.
Also, shout out to schools for making it super crazy by ending on a Tuesday, start back up on a Wednesday. Idiots. Just so dumb.
Can you start on a Monday?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know.
start on a Monday, and then here's an idea. Write it down. End on a Friday. That's just my take.
Yeah,
End
end on a Friday, start on a Monday.
And you know what?
Pretty good.
And here's something that makes it easy for teachers and parents. I'm no genius, but
Yeah.
it makes it easier for the teachers because
Also the
they have a
kids.
tough job. You know what? Add them in too. All right. Anyway.
Say, love to
Almost
this-
everybody. It
Yeah.
seems like doing
Yeah.
it this way is not easier for anybody.
Because if there's anything I know, teachers love coming back on Wednesdays,
Yeah.
and parents love having to schedule pickup on Wednesday. It's just, come on, y'all.
All right, so you've said before, best time to go to the parks, and best time I mean less crowded, is right after school starts.
Oh, yeah.
And couple that with how hot it is, it probably after like next weekend, which is what, the 12th or 13th or weekend or whatever, seems like maybe the best weekend or the slowest weekend at the parks because it's hot and kids are back in school.
This week's a little bit slower. Next week, there's a holiday of some sort. There's some sort of the 3-day weekend or a holiday coming up. Next week, I'm working the next 12 days in a row. Wow. It's crazy. So, but I don't think it's like one of our holidays. I think it's like somewhere in Europe. There's like a.
I was about to say, we have no holidays in August, right? Like,
It's
that's
figgy pudding day.
like America's like, that's too hot for holidays.
We gotta have something in August, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think there's nothing in August.
But September we go hard, in October
Yeah.
we go real hard.
Well, yeah. Or we got the next,
Yeah.
with Labor Day and
September, October, November,
Halloween-
December,
yeah.
January are all taken care of.
Yeah. Even February, you
Yeah,
got Valentine's.
February, yeah.
Then you got March, you got St. Patrick's Day. Then April, spring break. Put that in a
You got
holiday.
Easter in April,
Good Friday
right?
and
Yeah,
Easter.
Good Friday and Easter.
Mother's Day and Father's Day and Easter.
I don't care
4th of
about
July.
Father's Day.
4th of July, yeah. August, nothing.
No.
Nothing.
There's really
Let's
nothing.
invent one.
Well, you got.
There's got to be at least one.
Let's make one. Hot ass day.
Well, what's the European one that we just?
Wouldn't it be the 6-month anniversary of Tom and Dan Day?
Yeah, we could do the 6 month.
We could do halfway to Tom and Dan Day.
I hate those 6-month anniversaries.
You know what? You know what? I'm also anti, and this is weird for us to both be anti something. I'm anti half birthdays when kids do that. I want to slap their cake. I want to
half birthday. I've
yeah,
never
that's
heard
a
of that
thing now where you celebrate like your half birthday. I hate it.
No.
Oh yeah,
I don't do that. Real birthdays are nothing.
Well, you're
and real
you're
birthday
taking
on the
away.
day. I don't like real birthday. Like we're celebrating the weekend before. I don't like that.
No. And if your birthday fell on
if
a
it's
Monday,
a Tuesday, you got to go
Yes.
to Disney on a Tuesday. You got to celebrate, eat the cake.
Yep.
Oh, we just did this for Max.
No,
because his birthday-
no, that's just it's.
no one to come during the week.
It's why kids are soft.
So this coming weekend or week, it's packed. But then, what's the best weekend?
the
Or
best weekend,
week.
the following weekend after, because once the kids go back to school, that first week is hit or miss. They're moving classrooms, they're meeting new friends. Once you get to that second or third week of school, they're vested and nobody's taking off because they're actually learning things again and doing things again. So that's your safe. Like you come the third week of August, it's going to be hot. The weather sucks, but you won't have to wait in line for anything.
Gotcha. And
And-
how much, like we say it's less packed. I mean, are we talking about 25-minute lines here? Or I mean,
I
what do
don't
we
think there's such a thing as that anymore.
Not for the good rides. Like if you want to get on anything with mountain in the title, you're going to wait 30 to 45 minutes if
Minimum,
it slows
yeah.
down.
and what
Yeah.
about the really, really good rides? You're still waiting about an
90
hour,
minutes.
right?
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Still? Whoa,
Yeah.
I thought it was less packed. Whoa.
It's not. That's a lie.
Well, here's the thing.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
He's lying.
No, you got
Liar.
to. We're on a spectrum. You got to get
Hit him
the
over
right-
the head.
Get him.
So if there's 80,000 people in Hollywood studios, 50,000 of them are going to Rise of the Resistance because that's the new ride. And everything else will have a 25-minute wait. If there's 40,000 people in the park, 38,000 of them are going to Rise of the Resistance. So it's a 90-minute wait for that, but everything else will have a 5 to 25-minute wait.
I think they should
Okay.
have days. You know, like they have Star Wars Celebration.
They don't do that anymore.
Well, but you know they
miss it.
I think they should have a day where no one that's into Star Wars is allowed into that park, and us normos can go in there and get on the ride a little
Yeah.
bit
that's brilliant.
and crap around, and kind of like crap on it a little bit. That way we're not having you're not getting, I see so many people out there with the robes on and they got the tentacle hats.
And it's hot. They're sweating through it. It looks bad.
Yeah, it looks miserable.
Now, speaking of miserable, there is nothing I can imagine more miserable to me, and
Okay.
this is just to me, than going in to the parks while it's 97 degrees. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, even I like
And-
the parks, and then in different varying degrees, I would say you dislike the parks. I like the parks, and Sam
Yeah.
very much likes the parks.
Yes.
And I don't think any of
I
us
don't
want to
even
go
go
in
during the
August
day
and
in the
stand there
summer.
for 90 minutes.
yeah,
If it's not a water park, I'm not going
we're
unless
not
it's in the
those-
evening.
I don't think even Joey. I don't think any of the four of us here are the people that go there and sit 90 minutes August for Rise of the Resistance. That's not me.
If I didn't do it for a living, I wouldn't set foot in the park
Yeah.
in July or August.
Yeah, but you also know your way around it. It is your job.
Yep.
And it's good that you were able to help people because there are some people that are never going to get to ever come back to Orlando. So I get it.
Or Joey, let me ask you this question: if you are going while it's hotter than anybody could even conceive, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Are there any rides you would suggest to people that you could stand in line in the shade, or at
Perfect
least,
question.
I mean, they're all in the shade, but is there any indoor lines?
Well, I think that's a great question. Which rides would you say
Because I'll stand in the indoor line.
are the most standing friendly? Like if you're going to wait, which is the best wait?
Your best bet's probably going to be Magic Kingdom if that's the case. If you're going to Hollywood Studios, you're doomed. Everything's outside.
Yeah.
Until even Rise of the Resistance, the first 45 minutes of the
Toy
wait.
Story Land is literal hell.
It is.
During the day.
We talked
because
about that
there's
before.
No shade.
I was going to weigh in and say that Slinky Dog is the only ride I've waited in where I looked at Maisie and I said, baby,
Same.
I don't know if I'm going to make it. And it was in August. It wasn't like this. I was like, and she
Is
loved
it
that
outside?
ride. It's
I mean,
the
it's
whole
all
line is
covered?
outside. Here's what happens.
Just beat the sun beating
The first
on you.
part's okay. The first part's okay because you're closer to the main walkway. Once you get close to the ride, you're in like this little triangle area, and it's all just people, and they weave you back and forth, and it's just humans.
Oh,
so
God.
it's like humidity. It's just
Yeah.
hot, wet. and it's terrible.
We talked about this before. You said Andy's mom must live in Deltona because there's no shade.
Want to put some shade sails up on that? You know, like
I mean,
there
is
There's
some
a cover,
shade.
but it
It's
doesn't
just-
matter.
There's
It's
no
just too
breeze.
damn hot.
There's
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
There's no
You're
ventilation.
like trapped in a small area.
And it's going to get worse because they're opening up that Woody's Roundup barbecue
Yeah.
joint on the right-hand side, so they're going to have to reroute the line, so the entire thing is going to be in direct sunlight with no shade.
I mean, you have to put some sort of shade, right? Like,
Yeah.
build. You have
Build a
money.
wall.
Hold on, write that down.
And they're going to pay for it.
Build a sun wall. Get the sun out.
So
They'll steal from me. The sun will steal. All right, sorry.
no, you're good. The big thing is we're still using the term revenge vacationing's come up a lot.
All right.
Revenge vacationing is people that are so fed up that they had their plans canceled during COVID that they're just saying, I don't care what it costs, I don't care what it's doing. Snagged a quote from travel insurance company, Allianz Partners. They said 40,000 trip itineraries planned this summer. 600% of those people, 600% increase, are going to Europe this year. So I'm seeing a lot of travel, but we're not as busy as we were last year at this time, which is kind of nice. Apparently, all these high-end vacations that are going to Europe now that COVID has been lifted, people are traveling international again, which is good for Central Florida locals who like to go to the park.
Yeah.
So if you can feng shui the heat and you don't mind maybe going for 3 hours in the morning, grabbing a bite to eat and bailing, you can have a good time right now.
That's true. If you get out there when they open and you bounce at like 1,
In
you're
the
all right.
morning, yeah.
And then Universal Studios has it on lock because almost all of their rides are indoor queues.
True.
All of the rides are air
but
conditioned.
different style of rides for the most part,
You
right?
got it. Some of the rides have a 54-inch height requirement. I barely make that for God's sake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's some stuff. There were some water rides at. I went to H2O Live over the
cool.
weekend for Maisie's. I was making a joke about the not celebrating on the birthday. The reason that came up is we finally got to celebrate Maisie's birthday at that water park. That's a good little water park.
Oh, yeah.
Where is it?
It's the one next door to
Margaritaville, correct?
Margaritaville.
Oh, okay.
And you can rent out. I was going to actually ask you if you and maybe some of the Miami family gangs wanted to go in on one of those sweet-ass Margaritaville houses, and then we could all dip over to the water park.
Yeah.
An annual pass to that water park is $60.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
and the rides are great. Like the rides are. They reminds me a lot of the one I went to in Charleston. So Maisie was all into it because the raft rides are very severe, like super scary rides.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
they're
cool.
real good. Yeah, it was good.
And did you get the wristband
Yeah.
that plays the music and everything?
yeah, and it plays
That is
music,
so
and you
cool.
take pictures with it and stuff. Yeah, it's neat. It's like an upscale thing. But
Well, after we're done, let me know. I got to hook up for that.
oh,
So I'll take care of you guys.
that's good to know. That's a nice little spot.
Well, we're gonna hook up. We're like
Probably get a cabana.
Oh,
Yeah,
now
I had
we're
to buy
talking.
one. I had to buy a cabana.
See, it
It's
only
expensive.
14 episodes. You found a use for me.
Yeah, it was expensive.
Well, now we're talking.
Yeah, if you're bringing cabanas, I don't care what kind of misinformation you have on our program. I totally don't.
Unless
Yeah.
it's about the cabana. And then I'm pissed off
I'm
again.
sorry.
I know I said I could get you a cabana, but I was lying. Straight to your face.
You know, no, I got. That's the thing about you is even if the guy says he's going to give me a cabana and doesn't come through, you know, out of guilt, I'll pay for it and not tell you because I'll feel so bad. No, I got a guy for that, but we're good.
That's awesome.
So what else we got here?
Everybody's talking about it. You know, people start putting up their Christmas decorations in September, so people are already talking about Halloween.
Yeah, I've seen the Spirit Halloween signs are already up. Actually, I didn't notice it. I was zipping around with May, and May noticed it. She's like, Spirit Halloween, like down here next to Fashion Square Mall. And here in Orlando, we have a bunch of, like everywhere else in America, a bunch of dilapidated malls that aren't being used.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this one's already got the bright fluorescent orange ghost lettering on it, and it's ready to roll. And I saw a big, giant, you know what made me laugh? Is they were using a Ryder rental truck, and they were unloading merchandise in there. They must have so much garbage that they don't have enough trucks.
Well, it's cheaper to
It
just
must-
rent them during season and go from
Instead of
the
owning it.
warehouse
Yeah.
to yeah.
So they just had the regular old Ryder up there and a bunch of teens unloading Mario and Scream 4 and all the dumb stuff, carrying it all
It's
in.
not Mario. It's Plumber Red and Plumber Green.
Yeah. Plumber red, plumber green.
I saw BDMs like posting about going to Home Depot because they just released their new front yard
Oh, God.
decorations.
Oh, no, they had that
12-foot
early.
skeleton.
Yeah.
we had BDMs that had the that hacked it and had it early. and knew exactly what
yeah.
was coming out.
It's nuts. That it's this August 1st, and people are already
Like you
clamoring.
said, nothing's going on in August, so
Yeah.
people are looking forward to the next holiday.
That's true. Like in August, I guess now you plan for Halloween. You buy the stuff you're going to get. Like this year, I'm adding another song to my holographic pumpkin display that I have.
Yeah.
The fog machine will still be in play.
Nope.
I've had it one full year.
So when do they officially? Is it October 1st? They flip the deal.
Oh no, they're bringing it all the way back. It's going to be a couple of months. September 2nd this year they're starting it.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
too early.
You sell more tickets to that Halloween party.
I'm normally not that guy, but that's too early.
That is
Like,
early.
it's also gonna be hot. Like your wife's sweating hot. And there's some ghosts. It's like, too hot for ghosts. Right?
You got to remember,
Too hot
Too
for
hot for
ghosts.
ghosts.
I agree.
they open it up at
Like
around
a pumpkin and melting.
they start letting you go at 5 o'clock. It's still sunny.
Yeah.
So you're walking through a scare zone. I'm like, he's right there.
Yeah, exactly.
He's hiding behind a box. I see him. He's
Is
right
it
there.
like you're drinking pumpkin spice beer? Is it
No.
98 degrees outside?
Oh,
So-
that's disgusting.
But what the big thing to do, and this is something, if you're going to tough it, if you're a local, if you're going to just go early and you want to do it right, $74 for a ticket on average, surging prices. The Express is $110. That's the one that you don't have to wait in line. Now, you can take or leave that if you want. Sometimes waiting in line is just as much
Is this
fun.
this is a Halloween ticket?
Yep.
Halloween Horror Nights?
But the one that's worth the money is for an extra $35. I tell everybody, grab that Stay and Scream Pass. If you're an annual pass holder, you're already in the park. They start kicking people out around 3, 4 o'clock so that they can flip the park.
Sure.
If you buy the Stay and Scream Pass, they hold you either in Springfield, over in Finnegan's, or over by Hello Kitty. What I'm saying is they park you at a bar for 2 hours while they flip the park, and then at 5 o'clock, they open your gates first. You get to run out there and get first crack at the houses, and then around 5:15, 5:30, let everybody else. So for an extra $35, excuse me, for an extra $35, I can actually get you through the entire park ahead of everybody else.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a-
And also, if you really plan this right, you could probably end up doing your food or your dinner at that time, right?
Bingo.
Yeah. Like if you planned it correctly, you could add on and then kill the time there. That's not a bad idea.
Sam, get the old man alarm ready.
Oh, man.
Because,
Man,
Yes.
she's got fresh batteries in it.
So if we're talking regular ticket price for Halloween Horror Nights is how much?
I think
what
it's
is
$74.
that? 74.
$70.
And then you add the 110.
Well, but you could add the 110. That's the one that gets you in the express line. But I'm saying if you're counting your dollars and you want to be selective, if you want to spend a little bit of money for the extra 35, you give yourself the advantage. And though you can't get in the front of the line for all of them, you can be in front of the line for 3 or 4 of the houses. So it's kind of a risk versus reward. If you want to spend the money, you can. But if you want to spend a little bit less, this is a great viable option.
I don't think I would pay $110 to see like Elton John.
So
You know what I mean?
We're going to
I'm
talk about that next.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something I would
Dude,
spend.
everything's crazy. So, like, what I'm saying is, like, you buy the regular ticket, and then let's say you instead of the Joey's hack, you spend the 110 on the express pass or
Okay.
whatever. So now we're talking with fees and taxes, $200+ a ticket, and then you go a family of 4. Let's just say
800.
Now we're
God.
800, and then with food and drink, it's $1,000, right?
Bingo.
So. This is where the old man comes in. Like, for me, like $1,000 is a lot of money. It seems like a lot of
I'm
money.
not going to hit that because it is
Yeah,
a lot of money.
Sam and I both agree with that.
Yeah,
you're not old manning yet.
So, but what I'm
Are you saying you could provide an experience that would be better than Halloween Horror Nights for $1,000?
Are you building your haunted house again this year?
I'll help you.
No,
I'll help you. Want
too
some help?
lazy.
I'll go through it.
What if I
not
helped
gonna
and we
help
had
you.
Sam go through it?
No, it's too lazy.
We'll
now.
get Moon Jet there.
Yeah, but it's like
You can put that on TikTok because I'm a big wuss.
It's so much work, and then again, back to the $1,000. So you spend like $1,000 for one night of fun with the family. Is it worth it?
Only if you're
$1,000!
only if you're really into like
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah.
Okay, like my friend Mike
Yeah, it's-
Aiello.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
he
worth
happens
it.
to work for Universal
Of course,
Studios,
yeah.
but his kid Caden, his boy, really into like he wants to, that's his thing, right? Horror movies. So for him, absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
But for like your kids, no, Maisie, no. Even if they were his age. If they're not really into horror, if they're not really, I mean, I think,
Then,
you could find other things that would probably suit them better.
And the reason why I said old man alarm is because I think $1,000 is less than it used to be. Obviously, it is, and then that's why all old men, my pop would scream that cigarettes are like $4.50 a pack or $5, and he's like, I used to pay 39 cents, and because that's what was his reality.
Well,
so,
inevitably, everything's going up.
It is, yeah. And so $1,000, I bet to a 20-year-old, that's like, it's not that bad. That's all I'm saying. It's like
I don't know about that.
Yeah, $1,000 is all. Like even talking about this, like thinking about paying $110 a ticket to do it right. I mean, there is a point where you price people out. Like I would.
That's $110 on top of the $75 entry
like
fee.
$65 is about where I stop, right? Okay. And I'm not trying to dumb old man. I'm just trying to throw in like what I see the value in. All right.
But,
so about $65-$75 is where you lose me. $110, you've lost me. I'm like, I'm not really into that much. You know, I'd pay even less for Marvel because I'm not really into Marvel stuff.
Let's just say to go to the Magic Kingdom, a family of 4, if you buy the express pass and stuff, and then the whole day, that's $1,000 easy just for the tickets, right?
Well, plus their food's more expensive.
Yeah, and then
way more.
And then
Food, parking,
and then
beer.
you go into you stay at,
If you can find it.
You stay on property and all that,
yeah.
and you got a $5,000 vacation, right?
Here's your dumb old man moment. When I came down here in 2001, my first year after of college, me and the girl I was seeing in college, we were like, we're going to do a Disney vacation, and we can stay at Disney's All-Star Sports Resort for $66 a night. That is the cheapest hotel on Disney property. It is absolute trash, and it's $400 a night right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you talk, like you said, you talk to the kids, and I'm like, $400 a night. And like, it's not that big a deal. I'm like, what do you do for a living that $400 a night is that? Like, what is minimum wage? $800 an hour? God, old man alarm hit it.
Well,
hey, you got one, Joe.
I deserve
You're on
it.
the board.
Yes.
You're on the board. I like.
but
I'm 40 now.
Your perception of money does change,
does
and
change.
then so it's like
and your priorities shift.
Yeah. I just
Right?
I'm like $1,000 seems like what you used to spend on a vacation for like a weekend, a family getaway or
Right.
something like that. And that
this
was
might
like
be a dumb.
splurging.
This might be a dumb question, but I do think it's on brand, and I think it's important because the only way you're going to get me to spend $110 is if the shows are on point. Where are we at with Bill and Ted? Is it coming back? Are they going to do it? Is it really dead?
I know the reason that they kill it in L.A. was because apparently they offended some major corporation.
Yeah.
Because they had some characters that
got
were
a little too crazy.
A little too crazy, so they had to shut it down out there. Here, I never got the official...
Yeah.
I've heard a couple of rumors of why they got rid of it, but it's weird because they brought the Bill and Ted movie. The third Bill and Ted movie came
so
out.
everybody sort of assumed last year, everybody was, well, when this movie comes out, that's
gonna
gotta
stir
mean
it up,
that we're gonna get it back for this coming year's Halloween Horror Nights.
That
and
was
I've
my
heard nothing.
favorite part of Halloween Horror Nights.
I would go just for that.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to
'Cause
get
I
my
don't
money,
like getting scared.
Yeah, if you want to get my money, you're gonna have to have. I love the. I like going there.
It
When
was
I
so
do
good.
it, I like drinking drinks and watching shows.
Amen.
And I'll go through the houses too. I like those, but the shows really.
And the best
like the
shows,
most.
they got rid of Rocky Horror Picture Show. That
was
was really
fun.
good.
That was really
They
fun.
got rid of the 20-penny arcade, which was when they did all the freaky magic tricks, like the dude that would swallow nails and stuff. That was fun. They got rid of Bill and Ted. Fun. And now it's like the dancers that they have are insanely talented, but I can only watch America's Got Talent
that?
with Black Velvet so much.
That's League of Villains, or what was that?
Alliance, something of villains.
Yeah, like.
Maybe that Bill and Ted character, nobody can relate to it. The younger generation, like, what is this?
But it doesn't matter because the whole show is about current pop
You're right.
culture.
I know,
So
I know.
Bill and Ted didn't even matter.
You just need another vehicle that's sort of like that, you know.
Who's the new idiots that are in media? Is there a funny...
The Paul brothers.
There you go. The Paul brothers' most excellent Halloween
God,
adventure.
did you see
their
him
character
wrestle?
is
He
horrible.
did great.
Yeah.
Logan Paul's a great wrestler. My God, he's
No, I
good.
haven't
Yeah,
seen
he's
him.
really good. Like, that guy should stay in wrestling. He's a really good wrestler.
Yeah.
I watched him over the weekend. I'm like, wow, all right, well, you found your calling.
Yep.
You're better than most wrestlers, and you have...
Easier than boxing.
Yeah, easier. Yeah, not real. You can script it. You're
Yeah,
good
yeah.
at scripting. Good on you.
Perfect.
Good job, buddy.
So Joey, let's because we don't got that much time
Understood.
left. Let's get into the parlay today.
Absolutely.
And I want to see how wrong this is.
Okay.
do I have any marks from last week aside from the one that we caught 3 seconds after I said it? Are we good?
Yeah, I mean,
Let's roll.
Yeah.
7:30 p.m. tomorrow, New York Red Bulls. Here's what I'm thinking. Red Bulls versus the Rapids, minus 115. The reason I'm doing this, they haven't put up a goal at home in 2 games, but they're still keeping 3-1-3 versus the Rapids.
Okay.
What I like is the Rapids are only 3 for 10. They have only won 3 of their last 10 games, and all their victories come off as a loss when they're in away. We are looking real pretty at -115, and then if you couple that with the over being 1.5, because all of the home games have been at 2, we're looking real good. The cool thing about it is they're doing their math based on the friendlies. They're counting that. The friendly games in soccer count for the VIG. So what's cool is if we can get it at -110, if you do the math without the friendlies, it's -225. So I think we found a very slight edge. It might not be enough, but you know me, if it's a coin flip, 51%, I'll take it.
So Red Bulls coupled, parlayed with the over 1.5.
Yes, sir.
All right. And what's the odds on when you parlay those two together?
2 together is -55.
Okay. So -155?
No, -55. I'm sorry, -155. Sorry,
Yeah,
I can't read my own writing.
All right. The odds on that aren't great, especially in a parlay. You sure that's right? When you parlay?
No, hold up. I copied and pasted it.
Wait a minute.
Because
I think your numbers are polluted. You polluted the numbers.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, God. Thank God. You caught it.
I'm
Plus
sorry,
110. Plus 110.
Yeah. Okay, that
That's
sounds
better.
better.
Sorry.
All right. I was like, when you,
Tom Bam knows it. I know a VIG when I see one, mother vigor.
Yep. It's plus 110 if you parlay.
right.
Thank you for that. Sorry, boss. I'm sorry, boss.
now you apologize and make me feel bad.
No.
I'm sorry, Buzz.
So,
Don't chop my pinky off.
I just want you to tell me, and I don't have to think about it.
What
just
I
wanna
should
say
do,
you're good.
I should forward you the email so you can correct me as I'm
That's
reading it.
it.
It's right here.
Yeah,
I can't read.
If I just,
He can't either, so.
No. if you send it to me, I'll be like, well, this is wrong. And I'm thinking, it shouldn't be you're having a parlay, and then it shouldn't be -155. Those are terrible odds. That's the worst parlay
It
I've
is.
ever heard.
But
Are you sure that's right?
I was mad as I said it. That's what sucks. I'm like, wait.
Well, I
wait.
was mad too. Okay. Maybe we should just call it Parks.
Parks and a guess.
And I'll tell you a parlay.
There we go.
Anyway.
All right.
Joey, thanks so much for coming in.
Good seeing you, man.
You too,
If
guys.
people want to go on a tour with you, how do they reach you?
Just hit me up. Easiest way is on any social media at the Joey Mazant. I keep all my accounts private because everything is G-rated and kid-friendly. So I don't want people putting mean things. So you're welcome to add me. It's very safe and friendly. It just makes sense. If the kids want to say, "Oh, look, he's in the park," I don't want them to be worried that there's something offensive there.
Yeah,
So,
I like that. That's
thank
good.
you.
That's good.
All right.
Awesome, man. Always a pleasure seeing you. And yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some voicemail.
All right. If you would like to leave us a voicemail message, there's a couple ways to do it. In fact, get into the phone number, the vanity number now, because I haven't checked those today. 1-844-TOM, the letter N, DAN. That's 1-844-TOM-IN-DAN. If you call that, you can leave us a voicemail message. And the other way you can do it is to get our free app. You can download all of our shows right there. Wherever you get apps for your smartphone, just Google Tom and Dan app, Mediocre Time. It'll pop right up. You can get it for Google, for Android phones, and for iOS. The first message we have, let's try this one, because I don't think many people have ever truly thought about if you are bald, it might actually be difficult or just as difficult as a stooge.
So on an ACT show, we were talking about the haircuts for Tom and about the work that you have to put in to make it look good once you finally get a good cut. And I have a bozo. I'll straight up admit it, but not anymore, because I just shaved it all off, thinking that would be the easier thing to do, and it's not. You gotta constantly shave it. You gotta I just as soon be bald, but. Just like everything else where you guys were talking about, you just with the diarrhea would come out. You just wish that, everything was soft and easy. I just wish that I had no hair, just gone from the head, and then it would be easier.
I don't think that's possible. Like, I don't know anybody. Who's the most bald person you know?
Well, I think biologically you only lose your hair down to the bozo and around.
How low can it go?
The rim always stays. It's like body hair. That's like considered part of your body hair, I think. The rim, the bozo rim.
That's your head's pubes.
Yeah. I don't think you lose that. Like, no one goes bald and loses all their hair. Unless you have some medical condition like alopecia or something.
And then you got to keep my wife's name out of your mouth.
But I don't get what his argument is.
He's saying it's a lot of upkeep. He's saying that getting that shaver that's on wheels and baking his head is just as much work as you having to get it cut, get it styled, brush it every day, comb it, part it. Like he's saying that what he does is as much work as you have to do.
I would argue against that only because
of course you're going to argue against it. You argue against everything.
But pure logic.
When's the last time you were like, I agree with that?
How often do people that do shave their head, like, do they have to shave it like every other day?
Some people shave it daily. It would depend on who you are.
But I feel like if you have the right like shaver, and they make specific head shavers, right? And you could just do it in the shower daily and then be
Instead
good.
of washing your hair, you're just shaving your head every day.
Exactly. So then you're actually like, I still have to wash my hair, and that and maybe it takes a little longer shaving it, but it's like, I feel like just shaving your bozo, you would get good at it doing it fast, and that's it. And that would be faster than me having to this morning. I have to wake up. I then have to put some water in my hair because if I do it dry, it's hard to comb through.
Yeah.
And then I have to take my styling clay, wash it, put it in my hands, put it all in my hair, then comb it out, try to find the line, and then it's always messed up. It's like never good. And then I usually have a big doo-doo blob in the back.
Yeah.
That Sam's always like, you got a doo-doo blob. And then, so it takes, I would say.
You got a doo-doo blob.
Styling my hair every morning is more of a pain in the ass than shaving your head.
Well, of course you would. And this guy's going to say that shaving his head is
but
more.
Logic, but doesn't that make sense?
But you'd have to do both to accurately.
How long does it take you to do your hair?
I think the shaving is more precise. Like I've seen.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you're shaving.
Like here's the way I know that the shaving is harder. If you had to do it, you'd have a bozo you wouldn't rock it. You wouldn't shave it every day. That's how
Too much work, yeah.
That's how logic can help you make the argument that this man has a harder job than you have. Because if you had to do that, there's no way in hell you'd shave your head every day.
But he saves time not having to shampoo his hair, and then he uses that time to shave. That's all I'm saying.
He's just replacing something then.
Yeah, but I have to shampoo and style.
Well, he has to shave and dry. I mean, you can argue the same thing.
Dry? Drying's not nothing.
Well, when you're done, you have to put some sort of a aftershave or something on there to close the pores. Maybe you have to do hot water to make you take a longer shower. Maybe you got to steam it. Maybe you got to use a special kind of lotion on the top so you don't get razor burn. These are all things you're not factoring in. You're just literally executing this bald man and saying that what you have to do is harder. And I'm here to tell you, Jack, it ain't the case.
I make an argument that it is because I have to shave.
I'm still waiting on your
Just
argument.
wear a hat every day, right?
Yeah, see, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Well, if he's shaving his face and his head, it's just an extension of the shave.
You can't use the same razor, though. You have to switch razors.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do. If you're using that wheel thing that people use, you can't be shaving your face
Tom
with a wheel.
definitely would.
But
He tried.
Well,
I'm telling you, his logic is so flawed on this.
But you could use a regular razor too, and just shave your face and then shave your bozo.
But a lot of guys don't. Like I know guys that legitimately go, "Oh man, I can't use those yellow razors like my wife uses on her legs. It cuts the hell out of my head." I got 1,000 of those guys on my Facebook feed.
I'm just saying what I have to do is
There's only one way to find out. You're gonna have to start shaving your head.
But it's technically more work than what he has to do, just because all he has to do is shave, and I have to wash and shave my face and style.
Well,
and
you can't factor in shave your face.
But he's got to do too.
All you have to factor in is
wash my
your hair
and style
it, and he has to shave. And then whatever you do, I guess you don't.
He doesn't have to do
it.
anything. Yeah.
You have to dry it and stop the bleeding, I guess.
Anyway.
Let's try this one.
Hey gang, it's Zach from Ohio. I think it's funny that whenever I hear like really loud, like blood curdling screaming outside, and I like open my door and I look around, if I realize, oh, that's just children screaming, then I'm like, oh, not worried about it at all, because children scream at everything. But if it's adults screaming, then I'm like, oh, was someone being assaulted? But in reality, we should probably worry more about the children being hurt. It's the ultimate boy cry wolf scenario.
No, you're wrong, because kids scream all the time.
Yeah. My sons will scream. I'll run out the side from the toilet. And
my God.
And then run, and then be like, is everything okay? Or they're like, yeah, we're just
screaming.
Yeah, just doing some good old-fashioned screaming.
Or they're like, Max threw this paper at me or something. Like nothing, there was nothing wrong, but he screamed like he's being murdered.
Yeah.
And now you have to run from the toilet.
Yeah.
So, like, and kids do that all the time.
They
Now,
like screaming.
I rarely hear an adult scream. I mean, if I ever have heard that, it has been an emergency.
Sometimes it's at night.
That's
Sometimes at night when you're just, I'm out on my balcony and just listening and the night is calm. Somewhere in the distance you can hear, it's usually a man. It's never a woman. It's not like help. It's usually like, oh, like he dropped something on his toe in the garage or something. Like, that's the only
I'm always
time.
worried about that happening where I'll hear screaming and then I'll be like, I'll talk myself out of calling for help because I'm like, nah, I'm too paranoid. It's probably nothing. And then it ends up being a murder. And I didn't
that
help.
could
You know what
happen.
I mean?
Yeah, but
I'm
then
always afraid of that
Then
happening.
you just
too.
have to compartmentalize that and pretend as if you never thought that or ever heard it.
Yeah,
in order
pretend I
to-
I never heard the screams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how a tumor is going to get me. I'll be like, I'm going to say it's probably nothing. And so just like, I feel like even you hear a noise, someone breaking into your house and then maybe you're like, I'm too paranoid, probably nothing. Or is your paranoia going to overtake your rationale of I'm too paranoid?
Like my
Yeah.
I
daughter
don't
now
know.
will do this thing where she'll be in the house and I'll be like, hello? Hello? And I'll walk through the living room. I'm like, hello, Andrea, Maisie. Hello? And no one says a word. And they're both there and they're just watching me walk through the house. And they're like hiding. They're like standing still. I'm like, hello? I'm like, anybody here? And they'll just let me go. And then I'll come back down. I'm like, oh. And then they'll be like, we were here the whole time. I'm like, well, then why didn't you say anything? Why are you making me crazy?
That's called to make the old man think he's crazy.
It is
Yeah,
make
yeah.
the old man think he's crazy. Let's try this one right here.
Hey, show. I was listening to the latest Friday Free Show, and Daniel was talking about his experience getting the epidural. And I had hesitated. I thought about, calling into the show or emailing about this, but I hesitated.
Okay, do you want to start this? It's a long dental story, and it could be really good. I just don't know if we have time for it. Should I shelve this one and use a smaller one?
I mean, I don't know. We got
Let's let it
6
roll.
minutes.
time.
Let's roll.
But man, I had a similar experience recently, and it was not pleasant. So I just had to get wisdom teeth taken out, my top 2 wisdom teeth. So I go to the oral surgery consult. Everything is fine. I return for the day of the surgery. This is about a week ago. And this wasn't even supposed to be twilight. They're supposed to put me under. I was supposed to go under. Okay.
No.
So I get in the room and about 3 times, because they have to verify this when they put you under. You have to, you have to be aware of your surroundings, the date, the time, the procedure that you're having. So each time, the 2 nurses, the nurse that checked me in, the nurse that brought me to the room, and the doctor or the dentist all asked me, okay, what date is...
I like that he corrected that, even though a dentist is a doctor. I like that you're like, the doctor, the dentist. I like that you knocked him down a peg.
It's also weird they put him under general anesthesia for wisdom teeth. I never even heard of that. It must
They
have been
did that
like
for
a-
me. They put me completely under.
Yeah, I
Really?
went
Yeah.
completely
You know
under.
why? Because I had
Are you sure?
I had an
Yeah.
impacted tooth, and they had to chisel it.
Well, they
had
did
to-
to me too,
They had
but
to do that. Well, I get it might be different, but I was younger. I was little, and they put me. I know they put me fully under.
because you have to
I-
be in the hospital.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, because you have to have an anesthesiologist.
Yeah, mine was at the hospital. It was monitored. And I
general-
stayed there for the afternoon.
Yeah.
But
If
they
it-
were also pulling 9 other teeth,
If
so
it-
I had a lot going on.
If it's just at the dentist's office, they'll do twilight, which a lot of people think is being put under.
No.
But
I went to an oral surgeon.
Maybe
but-
that's like the hybrid in between.
but there was an anesthesiologist there because
I didn't ask the lady for her credentials.
Yeah. Because
But
I
I completely got knocked out
Yeah.
and woke
Well,
up bawling,
let's
crying.
see what he says.
What are we doing today? Wisdom teeth. Okay, are we going to put you under? Yes, we're going. I'm going to go under anesthesia. And they're like, okay, we're ready to go. So, just like Dan said, they gave me the oxygen. They put the IV in. They give me the friggin' hand IV, and I remember thinking, that's not gonna work. but who am I to judge? I'm not a doctor. So we're getting ready to surgery time. They inject the IV with lidocaine. Okay, so that's supposed to calm you down. So they're like, okay, we're putting the lidocaine in. So I'm like, all right, and I'm chilling out. It's making me a little relaxed. So I lay back, just waiting for the sweet propofol to take me into slumberland. So I'm just laying there, and then all of a sudden I feel the doctor with an instrument in my mouth, and I had read about the procedure, so I know that after they somewhere in between time, they inject you with Novocaine. So I figured, okay, he's giving me the injection of Novocaine, but no, this motherfucker rips my tooth out of my head. Rips it out. I was completely awake. It was the most excruciating thing that I have ever felt. And I went, whoa. Stop. Don't do the other.
I am in America.
Tooth. I'm going to another surgeon. And
give me my tooth.
And then he walked out.
He didn't know you were awake? Like, you didn't wince at all or open your eyes? Like, he just ripped your tooth out that quickly?
I don't know.
Before I could get all of those words out, he went into my mouth, ripped out the second tooth. I couldn't believe. I was so fucking pissed, and they wouldn't let me leave the office until my ride came around to the door. And I was like, "You guys didn't even give me any drugs. I'm stone cold sober."
Oh, that sucks.
I've never heard of this. Have you ever heard? I've never heard of anything like that.
Oh, it sounds
sounds a little
far-fetched in the fact that usually, if their plan is, all right, they told you they're going to put you on anesthesia, and then now you're just completely awake, and then they're just pulling your teeth.
They also talk you through everything, just about. Like, they talked me through everything. I thought they had to, right?
It seems like protocol was not followed.
Where were you going?
That some nurse would be like, he's still awake. That didn't matter. I don't know. It seems like maybe you misunderstood the situation or something.
Well, they asked me.
Like, his insurance didn't pay for it.
I mean,
Just
we talked about it a little bit on Friday Free Show. But I did, like, they asked me a ton of questions about, like, they made sure to weigh me, like, all the things that, because they knew they were going to give me, and this was just for, like, a shot. That's it, and they had a ton of things, and she did the thing where she asked me your address, your full name, who's your wife, who's your, they had like questions for me to confirm, my brain cognitive power or whatever, I don't know.
And also, like, I've gotten surgery before where they'll, like, write on my left, like, I got it on my right hand.
Yes.
On my left hand, they wrote, like, not this one, a big X, what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Because there's been so many mistakes, or, they make sure there's no mistakes, right? Because malpractice is like a big thing, and they don't want to get sued, and they also don't want to...
I would assume that's why this lady asked me my weight, and then asked me if I was a lightweight. Like, she was like seemingly concerned that she was going to dose me with so much Twilight, like
right.
It was
There's
a million protocol, It's just, I don't know. It seems like maybe you misunderstood what exactly you were about to go through, or that because people do like wisdom teeth extractions when they're awake.
Totally.
Like, that's a thing.
That's a
thing. It's, so maybe you opted for that and you thought you were getting
I've had both. I've had teeth that were pulled where I was fully awake, and that's not pleasant. So I'm sorry, sir. I feel for you, and I know what that feels like. But then I've had the ones where I was completely out, and my mom and dad came to my bedside as I was out just to see me. And they were like, yeah, he'll wake up soon. Like one of those. I mean...
that's how,
it's crazy.
You want to be asleep when they pull your teeth out. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.